What's happening, guys, and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, we're going to be checking out the Transformers, Shattered Glass, Rodimus, Sideswipe, and Decepticon Whisper. Now, as we very quickly take a look here at the packaging, fantastic artwork. These two look great, but as we come around here to the back of the box, to my surprise, this also includes another Minicon. I seem to have completely missed that when they dropped the official reveal for this set, so super excited to check him out. This Sideswipe does seem to be an Armada Wheeljack pre-tool, so that's also really exciting. And this Rodimus redeco is based on the Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, one of my all-time favourite Studio Series figures. So this may just be shaping up to be one of the best Shattered Glass releases so far. So with all that being said, let's get cracking. And shattering himself out of the packaging first, we have Rodimus, who surprisingly is the slightly more straightforward out of the two, in the sense that in terms of vehicle mode, it's basically just a repaint. But what a killer looking deco. I mean, this guy looks great. And spoiler alert, just in general, I regard this mold as basically being a mini masterpiece. So there really won't be too many complaints from me. We still retain those sick silver exhausts here along the side, the great kind of purple flames up front. And I also like how this time round they've gone for a much darker tint for the windscreen, so that you can't see the head sculpt inside. That was one of the biggest issues that I had with the original 86 version. But yeah, in terms of vehicle mode, it does look fantastic. And surprisingly, he comes with every accessory that we saw with the original 86 version. Most of them can store here in vehicle mode, with the exception of the Matrix and the Matrix Blast effect. But to be fair, I really only find juice out of the flame effects, which you can pack onto the back of the pipes, because personally, I just think it makes him look so sinister. I mean, you can imagine this guy turbocharging through the battlefield, ready to take out some Decepticons. Now, as we check out a few comparisons, here we have Rodimus alongside Hot Rod. And in terms of which version of the mold I personally prefer more, I think I am edging towards Rodimus, because as I'm sure you guys may remember, with Hot Rod there were quite a few odd colour choices, and I think it was to do with certain pieces being on the same part of the mold as the spoiler. So for example, this yellow hinge joint should not really be yellow, and it did just kind of break up the look of the vehicle mode, whereas here with Rodimus, because overall he is much darker, the grey and the black just gels better in my opinion. So yeah, I do think Rodimus is the superior out of the two, and to be fair, I've always been such a sucker for Nemesis redecos, so this was always going to win regardless. And because they are a part of the same set, here we have Shattered Glass Rodimus alongside Sideswipe, just so you can see roughly how these two stack up. So despite this guy being technically a Voyager class, he is in that deluxe class scale, so he's pretty much smack onto the size here of Sideswipe. Now, as we get stuck into Rodimus's transformation, it is crazy. So to kickstart things off with, you are going to want to take this engine piece here, pull it forwards, then take the headlights and bring these here all the way inside, just like this. We can then turn our attention here to the smokestacks. Now, I would be extra delicate when disengaging the rear part to this centerpiece, because unfortunately with my original Hot Rod figure, I did have a few breakages with the clips. So take this back piece here and basically just slide it over the top. Once you've done that, we can then take this whole section here and bring this down. Do the exact same here for this side. So take a grip here of this wheel and basically just try and pull it over the top here of these tabs. So once you've disengaged those, we can bring that down. And the next step also can be kind of difficult. So you're going to want to take these sections here and pull them away from the spoiler. So detach that. We can then take the spoiler, lift this upwards, rotate it around, and just leave it sitting like that for now. The next step would then be to take these wheels and disengage those away from these tabs. So do the same here for this side, split the legs. Personally, I just think it helps to get certain things out of the way. Once you've done this, we can take this panel here, bring this inwards, and then fully extend what will become the knees in the robot mode. We can then take his feet, bring these outwards, come back round here to the back, and as you can see there is a pin joint. That's because it is a hinge. So slide this section here inwards, take this here, snap that there into place, and that is one leg fully transformed. So do the exact same here for this side, bring this piece around, fully extend the knee joint out, take the foot, extend this here forwards, make sure that you are folding in at where you can see a pin joint. So take this here, fold that in first, and then fold this here, and those are the legs fully transformed. You'll then want to rotate here at the waist, so the torso is in perfect alignment with the skirt piece, so definitely make sure you do that. And the next step would be to take this entire section here, fold it backwards, take Rodimus's neck joint, extend this here all the way up, and then rotate the head so that it is facing forwards. We can then take the arms, lift these here all the way up as well, and then what you're going to want to do is bring this piece here to this angle, rotate this section here all the way around, and then take the front part of the vehicle mode and fold this down until it does click very securely into place. We can then take this whole assembly here, slide this down, and then basically just snap that there into place. There is a tiny little tab here that will slide into this slot, so snap the spoiler in, and then for a few finishing touches, take these panels and rotate these here around to the back, snap that down, do the same here for this side. And bang! Here we have Shattered Glass Rodimus fully transformed into his robot mode, and he looks fantastic. I think this is one of the best Transformers that I've ever reviewed over on the channel. I mean, as I said previously, I really do regard this as being a mini masterpiece. When it was originally released as Hot Rod back as part of the Studio Series line, it was like that character had stepped out of the movie. This guy is just so clean looking. It is better when in comparison to the masterpiece Hot Rod which they released a few years back, and it's fantastic to see this re-released with a superior Nemesis color deco in my opinion. But as we take a look here at the details, he does have a brand new head sculpt, so this time we get this really sweet tash kind of packed in there. But in terms of the color scheme, I mean, it does look terrific. The purples, the metallic gunmetal silver, and in particular that stealth-like black really does just look great. And as I mentioned when we checked out the vehicle mode comparisons, I do just think the colors for this guy gel better together when in comparison to what we saw from Hot Rod. So for example, the differences between the colors of the hinge joints to the thighs, or for example the black plastic that we have here for the shoulders and the forearms, I think does just work better. You know, having him for the most part being in dark colors does just look super sweet, and yeah, it's just such a fantastic looking figure. Now, in terms of his articulation, the head is on a ball joint, so it can look up and down, tilt side to side, as well as rotate left to right. He unfortunately still suffers from the same shoulder syndrome that we saw from the Rise of the Beast Optimus, in the sense that it kind of looks like he's smacking into the side of his head every time you lift these up. They're not terrible, you can definitely work around them. And another thing which I think is worth mentioning is that strange indented joint Hot Rod originally had is a lot softer here with Rodimus, so it's definitely easier to kind of find that sweet spot, which I thought was great. They can also move forwards and backwards, full rotation packed into the bicep, as well as a 90-degree bend there for the elbow, wrist rotation, and one of my favourite things about this guy, articulated hands. I mean, considering this guy is roughly deluxe class in terms of his scale, that is fantastic, and this is something that I'm so hoping to see implemented onto more Transformers going forwards. But we also get a very nice waist joint. The hips can kick forwards that far, back to that far, out to the sides. We get a sick thigh swivel, as well as a double jointed knee due to transformation, which again is just so cool. And then finally here for the foot, this can rock forwards, backwards, as well as side to side. So overall, in terms of robot mode, in terms of paint, and especially in terms of articulation, again, definitely one of the best Transformers figures that I've checked out in a very long time, and I do prefer this to the original 86 Hot Rod deco. I'm going to be honest, guys, I do think this Rodimus does just look slightly sicker in my opinion. Now, another thing which set this guy apart from some of the other Studio Series figures would be how many gimmicks they packed into him. So, in addition to the articulated fingers, he also did have a retractable visor, and this guy still does retain that. And to be fair, I think this kind of goes along with his look a little nicer. I really do like that red visor, looks fantastic, and to me, does kind of make the tash stand out a little bit more. So, yeah, that's awesome. We also get a wielding device packed into the forearm, so we bring that panel down, rotate the hand inwards, and bang, he is ready and raring to go. Because this is Shattered Glass Rodimus, I guess you could maybe say this is a high precision laser. Maybe you can use it to sever off the limbs of Decepticons. So yeah, that's definitely going to be my headcanon going forwards. And another thing you could do here to this side would be to bring it down, rotate this here backwards, which would reveal kind of a post that we've seen with many different Transformers figures released of late. And that's because, bang, we also get a nasty buzzsaw, which we can pack onto the end of it. And this looks fantastic. I also love the attention to detail of the scratches on the inside. You know, obviously where this has been spinning, slicing and dicing Decepticons, it has made a few marks. So yeah, that's great. Really does make this guy look super sinister. I mean, this looks so sick. So I definitely think I'm going to be keeping this going forwards. But in addition to this, he also comes with bang, 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 bang. We also get a pair of two distinctive blasters. So maybe if some of his close-up and personal weapons fail him, he can whip out these bad boys to take out some of those Decepticons, which I thought was pretty cool. And then to go along with those blasters, we also get a pair of flaming effects. Now, personally, I love sticking these onto the smokestacks. I just think it makes him look brutal, you know. If he runs out of all of his weaponry, he can use these exhaust pipes to maybe melt the faces off Decepticons. And yeah, the detailing on these look great. And I do again think they are a better recolor when in comparison to what we saw from SS86 Hot Rod. And then finally, we get a matrix included with a blast effect so that he can darken your brightest hour. And yeah, this looks sick. I mean, check out the detail packed onto that effect. This guy's just banging, and I'm so glad they did go ahead and include all of the same accessories that we saw first time with Hot Rod. Now, as we check out a few comparisons, here we have Rodimus alongside Hot Rod, and as I mentioned previously, I do just think the colours gel better here with Rodimus because most of these joints were on the same sprue as the spoiler, which resulted in quite a few unsightly colour mismatches. So yeah, to me at least, Rodimus is the superior use out of the mould so far. I wouldn't mind in the future if Hasbro do decide to redeco this to give us maybe a cel-shaded version of Hot Rod, and hopefully they can fix some of the mismatched issues that we have here with the original version. But you let me know down below, out of the two uses of this mold so far, which is your personal favourite. And then we have him alongside the Shattered Glass Optimus Prime. So the best modern Hot Rod mold and the best modern Optimus Prime mold. It's really going to take an awful lot for anything in the future to top these two, because I think these are peak Transformers, especially that Earthrise Optimus Prime. I mean, it is just so fantastic. And shattering his way halfway through this review would be the Shattered Glass Sideswipe, who I definitely think is the most interesting figure out of the box set, not only because he does look fantastic, but because in the future this is definitely going to become an Armada Wheeljack, which personally I'm really excited for. But another thing I want to talk about is this does primarily use as a base the Kingdom Earth mode Sideswipe, which we've seen repainted, retooled so many times in the past. So I was definitely surprised to see them give us maybe the best version of that mold so far, because the paint details on the back look sick, but in particular I love what they've done to the front of the vehicle. So this is completely brand new. We do get that really nasty gash going through what will become his chest in robot mode, and check out kind of the internal details here. That looks sick. And he also has a pair of nightsticks in robot mode which you can attach onto the side of the vehicle, and what I liked about this is you can kind of throw it back to the original Armada Wheeljack toy and bring these up to kind of create this weaponized mode when in vehicle mode, which I thought was great. But Armada Wheeljack is coming, and I am definitely super excited for that one. Now, as we check out a comparison, here we have Shattered Glass Sideswipe alongside the original Kingdom version. Like I said previously, I find it crazy that they've taken a mold which has seen so much reuse and have just given us the best version, because personally, I think the paint details packed into the back look so much nicer when in comparison here to this guy or pretty much any of the previous versions that we've seen of this mold. And with the new tooling that we now have packed into the front, without a doubt, this is definitely the best reuse of this Sideswipe mold which I think we've so far seen. Now, as we get stuck into this guy's transformation, the only real difference to the previous Sideswipes would be that you take these nightsticks and just set them here off to the side, but then you're going to want to take these panels, open these up, and do the same here for this side. Flip to the underside of this guy, take the arms, bring the shoulders outwards, fold out the hands, and do the same here for this side. Then what we can do is take these panels, bring these here all the way inwards, and do the same here for this side. You'll then want to take what will become the shin guards in robot mode, open these up just like that, then come here to the rear of the vehicle and basically fold it back upon itself just like that. I'd recommend to take the thighs and the hips and bring these down so these pieces kind of push out the feet just like that. So then we can just take the toes, fold these forwards, snap these panels in, and then split right down the middle. You can then rotate here at the waist, take this section here, open this up, fold this section here down. And bang! Here we have Sideswipe fully transformed into his robot mode, and it's a really smart repaint. I definitely think the nicest repaint that we've seen from this mold in a very long time, and although I know officially this is supposed to be Shattered Glass Sideswipe, I just can't help but see a very minty looking Armada Wheeljack. I am so pumped for the upcoming repaint because the Legacy Armada figures have been killing it, and I hope this time next year we do have quite a few more to add to that ever-growing collection, because yeah, they have been some of the highlights for me. But as we take a closer look at this guy's details, in addition to the sick battle damage chest, we also get a brand new face sculpt, so that looks terrific. Surprisingly, it has been detailed front to back. I was kind of half expecting this to suffer from that hollow head syndrome, but that's not the case at all. I won't bore you guys with the ins and outs of the articulation, as it's the same as the Sideswipe, which came out back in 2018. All I will say is for the most part the joints are great, with the exception of the knees. As you can see, bang, it takes next to nothing to launch this guy backwards, and because this is held on on via a pin, I don't think without disassembly there is going to be an easy way to fix this. So after we do see the Armada Wheeljack, I think maybe it's time to retire this mold, as it has been going on for like, what, 6-7 years now? Yeah, it definitely does need to be put to bed. In terms of accessories, you can pack the shoulder cannon onto his shoulder or smack those nightsticks into his hands. And much like the new tooling, it is so great to have something new about this mold instead of the same old blasters that again we've seen for the past couple of years. And whilst on the topic of repaints, here for a comparison, we have Shattered Glass Sideswipe, again alongside that Kingdom Earth Mode version, just so you guys can see the differences between the two. Here he is alongside his packmate, that being the evil Autobot Rodimus Prime. And then finally, the Legacy Armada Deluxe Class Hotshot. And then to round off this review, we have another really great entry, that being our second updated Minicon in the form of Decepticon Whisper, who undeniably will be repainted into Windspear, but for now, this guy looks great. I mean, in terms of this kind of stealth-like bomber jet, it does look awesome. I love the paint details here for a very quick comparison alongside the Legacy Jolt. I mean, so far, I've been so impressed with these updated Minicons. I hope we can see more going forwards, and to be fair, because we've got this guy, it's looking like they're going to give us more. So, yeah, that's great. In terms of prepping him for kind of combination with Sideswipe, all you do is take the legs and kind of flip these here to the top of the jet, so they do slide into these tiny little tabs, so lock that in there and do the exact same here for this one. As you turn him here to the underside, this is what you're going to want to use in order to fuse him with Sideswipe. I'm pretty certain you may be able to cram a 5mm post inside this little slot, so maybe much like Jolt, he's going to be backwards compatible with some of the original Armada toys, which would be pretty cool. But anyway, let's get stuck into his transformation. So straighten out the knees. We can then take what will become his heel spurs, fold these outwards as well. You'll then want to come up to the arms, disengage those, and kind of angle them here out to the sides. We can then take the front part of the jet, fold this down, which will then basically bring the entire upper torso upwards, and bang! Here he is, fully transformed into his robot mode, and a really well-made Minicon. I mean, this guy looks fantastic in terms of his details and painting, and in terms of build quality, much like Joel, is pretty well done. So, for example, there are quite a few pin joints in the knees and in the elbows. The only piece which kind of gets on my nerves would be these back wings. It doesn't take much to kind of pop them off, so maybe it would have been nice to have seen a few pin joints shot through those, but besides that, I am definitely loving these updated Minicons. Articulation is as follows, so we get ball joints here for the shoulders, which can go in and out, hinge jointed elbows, ball joints packed into the hips, which surprisingly are pretty poseable. We get backwards knee joints, so you can move these forwards and backwards, which is pretty cool. Nothing out of the ankles and nothing out of the head, but for such a small little dude, I am definitely impressed, and I hope that we can see more Minicons going forwards, because as I said previously, these updated Armada figures so far have just been absolutely fantastic. And so, wrapping up on this review for the Transformers Shattered Glass, Rodimus, Sideswipe, and Whisper 3-pack, personally, I think this is probably the greatest Shattered Glass set that we've so far seen released. Rodimus is a fantastic redeco of an already amazing mold. It's awesome that they included all of the same accessories that we saw first time round, so it doesn't feel like we're kind of being shortchanged. I also like how they did slightly modify the head sculpt to retain the moustache, so that's pretty nice. In terms of Sideswipe, I mean, although personally I'm just geeking out at the fact that eventually we're going to see an Armada Wheeljack, he is a great reuse of that Kingdom Sideswipe mold. Awesome recolor, great to see them retool both the chest and the head sculpt. Also nice to see them throw in some new accessories. And in terms of the Minicon, oh, it's just so awesome to see more updated Minicons. I'm so glad that PulseCon exclusive wasn't the only one that we were going to be seeing, because this Whisper is great. Really nice jet mode. Nice that he's compatible in terms of his vehicle mode with other Transformers characters. Transformation very simple, but wicked looking robot mode. And for the most part, build quality vastly superior when in comparison to some of the past Micromasters. So overall, I think this is a pretty banging set. If you like what you see here, then I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And I think out of all of the Shattered Glass releases that I've reviewed, definitely for this year, this has been the standout. So I'd love to get your thoughts down in the comment section below. And until my next video, I'll see you then. Thanks for watching.